What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. I keep preaching to everybody about DIY, do it yourself. And I keep talking about learn how to weld, learn how to 3D print, learn how to do all this stuff. And I'm still learning. I'm going to start this video off right now, or this stream off, by telling you guys I'm no expert at any of this. But I keep diving into it, and just like you guys can see in the camera here that I'm doing with the truck, okay, I've got a whole nother panel that's designed now that's going to be a button panel that's going to go on the right side of those gauges above the wheel to make it look like a real truck. We're going to do the same thing with the flight simulation. This is going to be a series that's probably going to last for a couple of weeks at least. But I figured I'd at least show you guys how to do it, take your input as well, and you guys can come along for the ride, and you guys will learn along with me. Again, there's going to be lots as we go through this that I don't know how to do, that I'm going to struggle with, that I'm going to have to research and figure out, and we're going to have to challenge and everything like that. But I figured this would be a great way to sort of include you guys in the community. You guys can see what I do. Any of these designs that I make will be available on my Patreon in the shop section. By the way, if you guys are interested in any of the guides, I know I haven't updated the intro yet. You no longer have to be a subscriber. You can simply go to the shop section on my Patreon site, and you can purchase the guides one at a time if you want. I know that was a big thing and people have been requesting, so I want to start pushing that. But anyways, I figured this would be a fun way to include you guys. So I'm going to talk to you guys about what we're going to be using and what the goal is and what I'm looking for. KW for life, what's up, man? Hashtag Peterbilt. But anyway, I'm just kidding. I love KW too. The W900 is badass. But anyway, I thought that this would be kind of a neat thing. So I'm going to start with what I'm envisioning and where I'm going to go with it. My goal is, so behind the display on the dashboard, I wish I could point at the screen where you guys could see it, but behind the steering wheel on that dashboard, there's a 16-inch monitor on it. It's just a portable monitor, a USB monitor. I think it was like $60 or $70. It wasn't bad. Now, one thing I will be telling you is I'm going to be upgrading, actually just this weekend, I'm going to go to a touchscreen. Touchscreens, and we're going to talk about why, especially for what we're going to be doing with the Flight Sim project. But the idea behind it is that I've designed the back of it, and you guys will see as we go through the process how I did that. I've designed the back of it where I can slide that monitor right out, replace the dash, and the idea is I put the flight dash on, slide that screen back in, load up my gauges, whatever it may be, and we're back and off to the races. And so we're going to walk through this process. So the goal is I'm going to start with something not quite general aviation. I'm thinking something like, you're probably not going to see any specific aircraft in the way that I do things. I'm more into, I want to make something that's functional for any aircraft that I choose to fly, with the exception of commercial. I want to do something completely different for the commercial aircraft. So I'm thinking something along the lines of like a mixture between like a Baron analog. I really like the steam gauges. I like the analog gauges. I think they're more fun. They just bring a different immersive experience to me, more enjoyment than the glass screens. But during this process, like to the right of that dashboard that's on the screen there, my goal is to create a second panel that's going to sort of kick off like this, you know. So if this is the dash where all of our instrument gauges are, I'm going to make sort of a panel that sort of kicks out like this and have like the GNS 530. I've got the Flight Sim Builder GNS 530 that we're going to integrate into it, because I do like some of the functionality. I just don't like the G1000s. They're too modern, for a lack of a better word. Anyway, so it's the same. You know, it's a funny thing too. American Truck Simulator is the same thing. I don't like the brand new trucks because everything's all glass dashes, and I get it. That's where we're at. It's 2025. Might catch up, right? And it's funny too because in my own world, like, you know, I have tablets and all the modern tech all over the place, and don't like it when I fly. So anyway, so we're gonna go that route. But I'm sort of thinking like a mix between, like, again, the Baron, like the TBM 850. The goal will eventually be to have an overhead panel, which I've already got on the rig. Let me actually adjust that camera so you guys can see that. So there's that camera there that you guys can see, or that panel up there at the top. So that's the PU Air Korea panel. And so we're going to sort of start integrating on them. That's got all the lights and everything already there. So we don't have to worry about lights. So everything that we think about is going to be based around, for today we're going to design something just for the gauges is what we're going to be looking at. But what we're going to be incorporating is the Moza 210 force feedback base. So we've got the dimensions here now, and I think that these dimensions, if I remember correctly, are in millimeters. I mean, you see there's no way it's 215.8 inches. So that's awesome, because that's what we're going to be dealing with as we use Tinkercad, which is a free website utility that will allow us to create a 3D print design. The next thing I want to talk about is 3D printing. I know a lot of people steered away from it. I know I steered away from a long time. I used to have the Ender 3 V2 Pro, and in the 3 years that I effed around with that damn thing, I probably got 4 solid prints out of it. Like, it was too much for me. I didn't have the time to dedicate to leveling it, and then you had to have those spacers and all the other nonsense. It was a pain in the butt. I'm going to bring up, though, something real quick. Let's do this. Let me bring that over here. I want to make sure that I had some reports yesterday that YouTube was not necessarily reporting all the comments over to me. And I want to make sure I can see you guys talk if you guys are talking on YouTube. So there we go. That should be fine there. Okay, cool. All right. And who's bothering me on the cell phone? Why am I getting bombarded? Oh, okay. Fair answer. Someone's offering me Starbucks. Can't say no, even though I'm not a big Starbucks person. Anyway, so when it comes to 3D printers, is where I was going to go with that. I'm going to show you guys a good printer, just so you can look into it. Bamboo Lab A1. This printer now, went up. Is this from Bamboo Lab? Wow, it did go up. Wow, it went up a lot. Oof, must have missed a sale. So I highly recommend this printer here. It is the Bamboo Labs A1 printer. Let me get that cockpit off the screen now. It doesn't need to be up there anymore. Honestly, neither does my mug, but what the hell? Where's OBS? Go away, OBS. There we go. So this printer is fantastic. And where I say it's fantastic is it takes about 15 minutes to get it set up. You don't have to be a pro. You don't have to know what you're doing. And it just works. The auto bed leveling, the filling, everything is super simple to use. So this is a great tool if you guys are interested. Yes, the price went up. I will tell you guys a little tip. I use Klarna to pay for it. I'm not made of money by any means. I got I got my kids that I'm supporting now full time. So it just, and all the other bills in life, things like that. So I feel you. So you can use Klarna. I don't even think they do a credit check for those of you who are interested, and you pay it's like $100 every 2 weeks, I think is what it is. So that's the way to do it. That's the way I got mine. And this thing is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Everything that I printed is printed perfectly fine. I have had 3 prints fail on it out of probably 50 by now, and they failed because my dipstick, decided to put PETG in it instead of PLA, but the printer thought it was PETG, and PETG already requires usually an enclosure, and you have to be a bit more careful with, the settings and the environment. So 100% my fault, long story short. That was an error between machine and keyboard. So anyway, once I put PLA back into it, all things were great. All things and stuff and buttons. Yes, sir. What's up, Mr. Gam? How are you, buddy? Long time no talk to. If you guys have any PC-12 questions, make sure you tell this guy right here, and make sure that you just tell him how much his airplane sucks. Because he gets to fly to the Caribbean, so he can take it. Actually, I don't know. Aren't you back in the States now? Maybe not. Good to hear from you, my friend. Glad to see you're still around here. Yeah, that's right. Still, you've landed at St. Bart, so you're automatically on my crap list. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Gave you guys an awesome printer. The other thing that this has is a multicolor option. Now that's $700. That went up in price too. Unfortunately, I think I caught it on a sale. Luckily me. I don't have this unit though, and it will automatically switch colors too if you want to do multicolor printing. But pretty much for what I'm doing, you know, black is fine. So food for thought on that one. Anyways, so you have a printer. We've discussed what tool we're using, so we're going to build the dash around this guy first is our first goal. And the other thing that we're going to be doing is, obviously, my bed is only 256 by 256 millimeters, so we're going to have to break it up into pieces. So we're going to design the unit, and then I'm going to show you guys how you can break it up to make things a bit easier. And at 215 millimeters, we're going to come close right out of the gate. So the first thing we're going to do is design the frame that sort of comes around this, and then we'll go from there. So let's see here. Total distance. That's the other thing I have to pay attention to, is it doesn't really give us what these angles are, so we're going to have to figure that out. But if I need to, I can break ours out of the box, which will suck. So let's see what we can do. And like I said, I'm no pro. We're going to be learning together. So let's start our 3D design. Who's bothering me? Oh, nobody important at the moment. So let's see here. So now, I don't know, man. Said it just last night. You'll get pretty tired rowing to England in a rowboat, no matter how you use it. All right, so let's start out here. So we know we need 215. Where was that? Let's go back to that. We're going to need the references 215.8. That's the base dimension. So now we have to decide how far we want to go. So we're really probably going to want to go all the way over. So when we had 256, I'm going to probably want... got to think about the distance here coming out on each side. We're probably going to go 250, probably 250. So let's see what we can get here. 215.8 is the dimension. And you have to think about sometimes the gaps will expand a little bit as obviously things heat and contract. Oh, always. I always notice you, boo. All right, so we've set a block. You know what? Let me show you guys, walk through that. So obviously here's all your base shapes that you can start with Tinkercad. And that blue circle in the middle is your face of wherever you're going to be placing an object. So for example, if we set this down here and I grab another one, you can see that blue circle in the middle is the face. But if I bring that up to the box, now it's turned to the side. Okay, so wherever that blue circle is where you're going to place your object. We don't need this one though. And let's name this. We're going to call this the, I don't know, Moza bezel. I don't know what else to call it there. Why? I like the attention. You know that. And then, so we know we want 215.8. That's minimum. Okay, so let's drag this back over. So that's the minimum distance that's required just to meet the edges. I actually haven't used Tinkercad. Why do you have to call me that? That was really weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it all the way over to the side. This very thin blue line is usually about your limits. You don't normally want to go all the way edge to edge. However, I will tell you the A1 can do it. I did it with my last print, but I try to keep it right outside of that. So we're going to see, what does that bring us to? That brings us to 239. Let's make it a solid 240. Okay. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to grab another one. And actually first let's do this. Let's bring this down to the bottom. And then now let's determine our height. It's going to be easily 250, right? So we know we're going to need that. Going that way. So there we go. And your mouse wheel will allow you to move around. Right click allows you to turn it. Shift and right click, you can move it around and pan it. All right, so now the next step is to assign the dimensions for our Moza. So So this is where it's going to become more critical. We're going to change the color of this by clicking up here. Let's make it blue. Blue. And again, we know that we needed 215.8, so I'm going to give it a little room to maneuver, and we're just going to go 216. Okay. Now, to make these centers real easy, we're going to highlight both of them. You can see they're both highlighted. We're going to click this button up here that allows us the align tool, and we're going to use this right here, and you can see where it will move to by the highlighted section. So there. Now we have that in the center. What we'll do here is bring these back. And we'll square it all up later. What is your cat? Why is your cat ATS? Oh. Because Restream didn't let me change that. I need to go ahead and change that. Hang on, just for you. Because Jeremy was smarter than I was last night and changed it for me. Manage stream. I'm down. Tell me when. Tell me when and we will set it up, sir. Actually don't remember how to change the damn thing. Yes, please, because I don't remember how. Anyway, thank you, Jeremy. So, we're going to take this, and then we're also going to align it down at the bottom. So that puts it in the center, and this is where, you know, I'm still learning too. That's that one. There we go. All right, so that brings us back to the bottom. And so now we're just going to click on the blue one. And let's go back to our dimensions. We know it is 111.28 high, so we're just going to go to an even 112. Like I said, give it a little room to swell too, because the measurements will sometimes be slightly bigger, and if we need to do a little bit of sanding, we can. So 112, there we go. All right, so that's going to be, we know that this space is completely removed based on the MOSA. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to figure out these dimensions here, which I don't think they give us. So I may have to break mine out to figure what that is. Because the 243, that's with the feet involved. We're not worried about that. These are the feet themselves as well. So yeah, they're not going to give us what those angle offs are, because we're going to need that as well. So I will do that later. For right now, let's just keep going here. So now let's move this down to the bottom. We're going to make this a hole by doing that. And it's going to chop that section out. And we can always add in the... That's funny. The NLR is what got me started on my DIY itself. And then we're going to do our line. And yes, it is amazing. I'm still learning it. It's a lot to learn. But it is definitely awesome for a free product. A great way to start. And then we're going to group these pieces together. And that section of red will disappear. So boom. We know that the MOSA will fit in this box. We'll worry about the angles later on. That's not the key part. That will just be for aesthetics, obviously. So... You know, I don't want to waste you guys' time with that part in this particular video. So let's start working on what's going to be above it. So now is where you get to start thinking about that 16-inch screen that we were talking about. So what I'm going to do is now we have to think about inches to millimeter. I actually don't remember. Oops. 406. A lot. And how much do we have left? I find the easiest way to measure things, by the way, in this, honestly, is just to pop a box on here and do things like this. And it's usually the easiest way that I have found to get yourself close enough. So, unless you're looking for like precise. So again, we know that we have 240 on from left to right to work with, but what I'm more interested in is how much space do we have up top. So 138 millimeters. And I'm going to get a micrometer out here for a second. And we're going to start, we can do a couple of gauges up right up above it, I think. So let me go get my micrometer. Yeah, it's been awesome, 777. I'm going to build your next plane in 3D. I don't know about that one, man. MSFS, Jeremy, sorry. So, get one of these, by the way. You want one of these. These are critical. And I recommend, honestly, 24-inch. This one's only 8, I think. At the very least, 12. Like, for example, this won't go from end to end on that Moza base that we were talking about. But what I'm going to use it just sort of establish how big do you want your gauges. And I actually have an example I'm going to use as our reference. Okay, so we're going to want about 65. So now let's start placing some of these gauges out. We can make that flying rectangle. I'm down, man. Let's do it. So let's see here. Let's grab a circle. And this, obviously, we're going to want 65 in each direction. And the easiest way is just tab after you put in your numbers. All right. So what we're using for reference, and I'll show you guys that. Is this guy. So this is what we're using as a reference, and the diameter of these were about 65 millimeters. And that's where that micrometer comes in like gold. So let's see what we can do here. Again, we want to make sure we have a gap. You want to be thinking about where it's going to be placed on whatever control we're doing. So I want that pretty much right up in front, right where the edge of the Moza is. I want it right up in the front, is what I'm thinking. So when you do your placement, you want to be thinking about that, but you also want to be thinking about your aesthetics. Like, we're obviously not going to be able to put much more there. You know, we can get probably about 2 gauges out of this, maybe. And you got to be thinking about the mount behind it. So what I'm going to be doing is creating slides. They're just L slides like this, where I put felt on the back of this piece here. So that way when you put your monitor in, we're going to slide the monitor in, it's going to slide along the felt, and up here we'll hold the monitor down. The stainless rulers. I don't think I've seen those. Are you talking about just literally just a ruler that's stainless? Okay, so let's drop this one in and we'll see what we get. So again, I want to measure sort of what we got going on here. So about 13 millimeters, so that's pretty good. I want this distance to be at least 10. But we're not quite on the edge there, so let's grab this here. And this is all for the back of its purpose. That's the other thing too. You know, I'm not too concerned about whether or not, because we're going to put bezels on here and everything like that to make it look nice. So, wow, look at that, right on the money, 10. Okay, so we want to keep that right where it's at. So we can delete that. So there's our first gauge. Let's make it a hole. Let's bring it down. Let's make sure it passes through. And group it. And there we go. And that's the other thing, is we can actually adjust the height of this too. It doesn't need to be 20 millimeters. So let's take this down to like 8. There we go. Negative, sir. Nope, not repurposing anything. Although you did just make me realize I have another screen that's staring at me right now. That has been sitting here the whole time. Thanks. Speaking of repurposing. Alright, so let's see if we can get another one of these. I don't know if we can or not. And Control-C, Control-V works. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So maybe what we can do here is like a Hobbs meter. Might be kind of fun to do. So we can reduce the size of that. Let's see what we got here. Do a clock. You know, I want to put something in there. Maybe a fuel gauge. So let's kick it down to 50. And then what we can do, you should be able to, you know what, let's actually ungroup those. Nope. Nope, I don't want you doing that. I may have to hide this one first. So we can click on the flashlight. Oh, that is not what I want to do. What? No, you took away my other hole. You totally did. All right, that's all right. We'll make it again. Okay. And then what I actually want to do is we're going to take this, ungroup those. We're going to click on this, click on the light bulb. Oh, damn it. I hate it when you do that. Thank you. There we go. Oh, I think I hid the wrong thing is what happened. We can actually take one of those, delete it. Should be able to take these two now. Go to the align button. There we go. And then we'll center those just like that. Okay. And then now hit our flashlight or light bulb. We can regroup. Well, let's just regroup these two for now. Okay. And then now just rinse and repeat. Spacing them as we like. And we'll get them all first laid out, and then we'll get them all centered. The beautiful part about DIY and why I'm so big on it is you can either mirror it one-to-one to the real thing or make it your own. Who gives a crap if it's like that in the real world and, well, that's not realistic. Tell them to bite you. But just be careful who you say that to. They might do it. All right, and then so from here, again, we're going to take just the big plate. Kick that out. Let's make sure all these guys are centered. So again, we're just going to go through the process again. Line those up like that. Do the same thing with these two here. Hit your align, grab your middle, boom. And then we'll do the same thing from the other direction here in a minute. Okay, and now let's do this. And same thing. Beautiful. So now all of their spacing positioning should be about the same. Let's bring our piece back in. Now, they're in line with each other, but they're not in line with the box. So if we take this... No! I didn't want you to do that. It took all of them. I didn't want it to do that. My bad. Got to think about how I want to do this. See, this is where I'm learning now. So maybe if we do that, I think I can group these. Okay. And then with those grouped, we should be able to bring that back in. Then if we hit the align, yeah, bam, there we go. I just did that, sir. You were too late. You literally typed that as I was saying it. I win. But thank you. Good call. And then now, we'll group them all together. We have our holes. So there we go. There's our first set of gauges. I have no idea what I'm going to put here yet. I just know that I wanted them there. And so those will sit right above the Moza yoke. And so now we're going to start expanding outward. Not on my screen. Yeah, it is just now 15:41, and I see your chat at 15:40. I can put it on screen, sir. Okay? See, look at that. Look at that right there. 15:40, 53. 7 seconds? No. Okay? I win. You lose. Argument is invalid. And then let's go ahead and center this on the board. Actually, I don't know if we can center this on the board now that I'm thinking about it. What do all these do? Shape a work plane, drop a work plane, cruise, mirror. Huh, okay, fine. All right, so now let's look at like a TBM 850 instrument cluster. Thank you. I'm just thinking about things that I want. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go above it. Nice. Thanks, Google. Very helpful. Appreciate it. There we go. What about something like that? Cool. Anyway, we got the gist. So you know what? Actually, that'd be kind of cool. It's amazing how many of these screenshots can be such a pain in the butt. Oh, look, FS Elite. They don't let us down. Would you go away? Gotta love it. Man, this is back from when it released. Yay! We have a full picture. How about that? Okay. So, thinking about what I've got here. We have 3 gauges already, 3 little ones up top. So I'm already starting to design it. The TBM 850 is by far my favorite. Sorry, Brandon. PC12 is amazing. Don't get me wrong. It is. You go away. And you go away. And we'll leave that up for now. So we have at least an altimeter. Or a airspeed indicator. We have an altimeter. And probably vertical velocity indicator. And then I'm thinking of doing these two up top. I think that'd be kind of fun. The HSI and the ADI. Digital HSI and ADI. Let's do that. And then we'll make a side panel for engine instruments. Now with engine instruments, I'm going to do dual readout because I also have the piston Duke in mind. Oh, nice. Huh. I'll have to find some of those. I just saw your comment. I don't know how I missed that. Your comment about the inches and millimeters for the rulers just popped up. Okay, so now I'm going to move this guy and we're going to move it down. So we're going to start building upward. And from here, we can either attach another piece on, which might as well because we're going to have to build another plate. So let's just start setting this one up. If I remember, we decided on 240. Now, thinking about the height of that is where this starts to get interesting too. So aside from those, the ADI and the HSI, we're not going to want to go much higher, because then it's going to really impede on my screen based on where the yoke will be mounted. So 70, that's 80 millimeters. So that's pretty... $100 on top of what's already there. And that's the biggest things we have to think about, is that there's already a ton here. And what did we say was there? Roughly 137 is already on top of that. So now that I think about it, you're going to have the yoke here, which if we go back to our droid cam, right where that dash is, right where the wheel is where the yoke is going to be. Let me point that back down. So we probably don't really want to go any actually higher than what we have here. So this is where the redesigning always gets fun and interesting. So I think what we're actually going to do is ungroup these. So let's do this. I'm still going to save these, but we're going to move them away. We'll come back to those and use them for a different piece. And then what we're going to do is put our ADI and HSI here. Now on that picture, those are square gauges. So let's do that. Oops. And are they square or rectangle? They're more rectangle, huh? No, those are pretty square. Square it is. Okay, you need to move over, because I keep clicking the wrong one. So the frame, everything behind it and extending outside of it will be metal, yes. This particular piece won't need to be metal, because what my plan is to make stands that will simply go behind on the Moza to hold it up. So I'm not too worried about that, but yes, I'm going to be doing metal work. So if you look on the droid cam, to the right of the wheel and left of the wheel, I have metal square. Actually, I'll just show you. So I have those slide points where it's just a 6mm Allen key. You loosen it up, and like that whole button box, all those mounts, they just slide right off. And so I'm going to do the same thing, but for a full pit. I'm going to make it both the left and right sides, have two posts that come out the back. The frame will probably be in, I don't know, 16 3/4 tubing. Like, it doesn't have to be much, right? You want to keep it light. That tubing ain't going to bend, you know, not with this crap. This ain't heavy enough to make it bend. And then I'm just going to have two posts where the idea is that the whole thing will just, so the Moza, the yoke will mount to where the wheel is. It's the same thing, just I made the frame for that Moza wheel too. It'll just slide in there, lock into place. And then this piece that we're designing, same thing, you know, have the GNS 530 and all kinds of stuff, and it'll just slide into those pins. You lock them down. I'm going to mount the USB hub for each of them on the back of the actual rail. So that way it's two cords, you unplug them, pull the whole thing out, swap it in, two plugs, you're back to driving or flying, whatever you want to do. So yeah, the frame will be metal, but everything else will obviously be the 3D printing. Oof. I don't know if we can do 2 of these. Oh, yeah, we can. All right, so let's hide this again. Let's get these lined up first. There we go. Okay, and then let's group these. Okay. Put that back on. Align. Let's get them centered. Moving too far. Let's bring them down a little bit. I want to make sure they have enough room for everything behind them. Mr. Tombstone, what's going on, my buddy? How are you? I almost pestered you on Discord the other day, and I can't remember why now. All right, let's make these holes. Nice. And you know what? I think we are going to still have to go up. Otherwise, I'm going to be burning that 16-inch screen. What did we say that was? So at the very least, I think we're going to want 3 of these gauges. But that's 16 inches diagonal. I gotta remember what the dimensions of this thing are. Oh, dude, you have no idea. It's ridiculous now. I'm already thinking about moving to 65-inch screens. $300, about 350 is our total workspace from left to right. And we're already at 240 here. The 50s? Yeah, buddy. I'm trying to think about how to maximize the space. Let me see what we had up top. I didn't think about that. So we're going to call it 325. Let's actually draw something like that real quick, so we have a reference. 325 by about 200. That's about our panel width, or panel size for the monitor. So let's do this. Let's just make it a hole for right now, just so we can sort of see. Suppose we could always do round HSIs and go back to this method. What do you guys think? So this is what I was thinking of doing, but now I'm thinking that's going to be a waste of screen. I'm going to try to, but I don't know if I can or not. That's a long time to leave my parents with the kids. And I don't even know if I can afford to go all the way out to Rhode Island this year. Oh, nice. You liked that one too? Cool. Yeah, that mount was awesome, huh? Well, see, that's the other thing I'm thinking about too is the Whirlpool yoke. That is on my mind. But I noticed that it has a similar shape to it, which I found interesting. I'm not going to lie. What do you guys think? Should we just stick with the round gauges? We'd probably get more distance out. These were cool, but maybe I could put these like off to the side on a different panel. That's the other thing, is you could do 2 panels. Because I'm not trying to mirror the TBN. Round gauges would probably be easier. I'd probably get more ground with round gauges, huh? Let's do round gauges. Let's go back to the original plan. I think that's going to be better overall. I do. I'm going to pull this off for just a second. I want to see if I can find the dimensions on that monitor I just bought, so I get the exact conversion. I have so much stuff coming. Holy crap. Alright, so it's a 16-inch display. Does it give me the actual dimensions? Standing screen display size, 16 inches. Sure. Oh, there you go. Product dimensions. And it has virtually no bezel, so 9.25 by 14.17. That is such a weird breakdown. Alright, so 9.25 inches is going to be the height. So let's go back to our conversion tool for a second. 234.95 on the height. So let's get that. Should have done this from the start. I don't know why I didn't think about that. 234. We'll just leave it at that. Give us a little buffer. And then the length was 14.17. 360. Well, 358. We'll do 358. Okay, so that's our screen dimension right there. So the idea was going to be to have it in the center, so it would sit right about there comfortably. Can I send that to the back? Is there a way to do that? Is there a way to layer this to the back? Yeah, I probably will sit this year's Expo out. Honestly, the logistics and not having someone to watch the kids for that long. Their mom doesn't even live in the state anymore, so. And my parents, they're 71 years old, so. Not exactly where they used to be. All right, let's see this for a second. What did we determine that distance was? Oh, it's almost 20 millimeters. You can already see it. Okay, so that's good. I think that's a good area of work right there. Yeah, it is too far. Well, that's the other thing, man. I'm 6'1". You know, you ain't gonna catch my ass flying first class. So to be locked in those metal tubes for 8 hours. I remember years ago, funny enough, for my job, I had to fly to Boston, and it was 6.5 hours from Boston to Phoenix. And oh my gosh! And of course, I'm right against the divider between economy and first class, which just makes you want to punch a baby seal to begin with, because you're watching everyone stretch their legs out as yours are cramping into your chest. But literally my knees, I had to keep my calves up against the chair the entire time. Oh, it was awful. Yeah, it was pretty horrendous. Okay. So now we're back to thinking what I want to do here. So we do have quite a bit of space here still. Hey, Cloud Strider, how are you? So let's do this. Let's hide this for a second. I do want to catch these dimensions because my dumbass is going to forget them. 358 by 234. Let's just grab a screenshot. There we go. I love GreenShot. It's such a cool screenshot program. All right, let's set that to the side because I'm sure I'll need it. Say when and where, big dog, as long as it's close to home. I'm there. I want to get something together, you know, with anyone who's at least close-ish to Tucson, or we meet at like the Pima Air Museum or something. I think that'd be fun. All right, but we got that now. So let's see here. Let's go back to this piece. I'm trying to think about how we want to do this. What did I say that dimension was? See, this is why I did that. 358. I knew you were going to do that. You suck. Okay. And it makes perfect sense because I grouped it. So let's do this. Take those out for here. And I already forgot what it was again. 358, 234. And I'm going to have to redo that one too. So let's do that. Ungroup. Stop it. I just want that. Thank you. Take that over here. There. Third time's a charm. 358. Is that right? 234. But we're already at 250. Oh, I know why. Okay. So 358 was the total width of the screen. So that's how much I have to play with there. So then if we take this guy, drop it back in. But the screen isn't going to be down here. So now I need to know what my distance is up here. I almost wonder if I should assemble these in two different pieces. Get out your crayon and post it. Yeah, seriously. This is Tinkercad, Cloud Strider. It's a free website or free CAD tool. You guys think that's unhealthy? Oops. So you know what? Let's do that. I think I'm going to cut this down. What was the height of this? This is 112 is what we determined for the height of the Moza. So let's break these up into pieces. I think that's going to be easier to manage. So that was 112. So let's take it down to, I'm thinking about the bezel up top. Damn, paint the house later. $112. So let's do this. Let's take it to 115. And then we'll add tabs at the top. Or actually, I guess those tabs would have to be at the bottom. But we can always flip it over. So let's do this. Let's put this back on. Okay. And line it. Center it. Bring it forward. That does not look like... I'm calling a little bit of BS. We should have 3 millimeters left. Let's go higher than that. Let's go 118. There we go. I just want to make sure we have enough, because my what I'm thinking is now is on the back of it, I'll put square tabs on it that I can use to plastic weld. Why does it? Do you realize the number of times that size doesn't matter has come up in my live streams in the last 24 hours? I'm not even joking. Catheta earlier, if you scroll up in the stream, oh, he was on Twitch. Never mind. He was on Twitch. He made a comment about it earlier, and it was made twice last night by two different people while I was doing the driving. Like, there seems to be an epidemic going with us men right now. And yes, it does. Like I said, how hard do you want to work? Because if you can take an ocean liner across the ocean, right? Jeff Foxworthy said it the best. Try to take a rowboat to England, you're going to be there. You're making it easy. That's what she said? Anyway. I have enough things difficult in my life. That doesn't need to be difficult. All right, so let's see here. We can do a hole there. Phrasing. All right. So there's that piece. And then what I can do is we have this space here. We can maybe put a couple switches in. We'll come back to that later. I mean, the Moza already has a landing gear and a couple switches on it, so there probably won't be a need for much there, but we'll see. And then if we take this up here, this is our monitor dimension right there. That's our screen size, which also means that whatever we make has to be larger than this, because it has to be able to support the actual dimensions of the screen. Because this is the total product dimension. So the next piece we make has to be bigger than this. That way we can make the slides for the monitor to actually slide on the back of it. And have a space to mount it. So, got some things to think about here. So let's do this. Now I'm trying to think about how I want to do this. Let's make another piece. Let's drag you off for a second. And now we'll start our gauges. So our panel size, what did I say again? 358 by 234, so we need to go bigger on that. So the idea, bud, what we're doing, Mr. CST Gaming, and welcome, buddy, good to see you again, is if you look on the screen there, oh, I need to get that off the screen. Guys, tell me that. I would have gotten that out of your way a while ago. If you look at the cockpit there, we're going to make the same thing, but for flight sim. The idea is we're going to, right now, this piece is going to go over the Moza cockpit, the force feedback yoke. And then we're going to have a screen behind, just like we do up on the dashboard above the wheel there in the camera. And we're going to have gauges, and we're going to make switches and all kinds of good jazz. Let me get that camera off so you guys can see what's going on. All right, so let's see here. Our dimensions, we're again 358 by 234, so we're probably going to want like we're going to go 244 by 368 for now. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's our housing for the display. So again, we'll be making little L brackets that will mount on the back of it, put some felt on the plate itself. The monitor will slide under that and pinch down. That's what I did with the last one. And so let's do this now and take our actual gauge dimension. So this one was the one we actually drew it out correctly, right? 358 by 234, yeah. So let's bring this out of a hole now. Make it a solid Let's make that like a puke brown, just because why not? I'm going to get this out of the way even further. Let's do an alignment. We want that centered. We want it centered. Okay, and that's how much room we'll have all the way around the monitor. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to use the brown as our reference here. And so now we can bring our gauges in and... okay. So we're going to take that guy and hide it for a second. Okay, and then now we've got the monitor that we can play with. So we actually have more space than I thought. I actually just got asked that. I don't think so, pal. Between the kids, full-time dad now, mom moved to New Mexico. My parents are 71. And just being able to fly from Tucson to Rhode Island, I don't think it's in the books. I wanted to, but the more I think about that, I just don't think it's realistic. So my inspiration on the plane is a TBM 850. Sort of going this route here. I really like this design with the square center gauges. I really think it's sleek. And we have the GNS 530. We're going to be incorporating this as well. And I don't mean touchscreen, like we have a physical unit, the Sim Builder GNS 530. I'm got Air Manager planned in this, so I'm also thinking a transponder, obviously. But I really like this engine cluster, but I guess more accurate, honestly, would probably be the B60 Duke is probably where I really want to go. Instrument panel. You know what? Let's do this. Let's just look for MSFS. Hey, look whose video comes up first. Anyway. There we go. Well, but that's got the glass cockpits. I don't want the glass cockpits. Glass cockpits are just boring. There, I said it. They're boring. Glass cockpits are boring. Sue me. Trying to find... There you go. Yeah. Is that the Duke? Oh, I didn't think about that. You could do twin needles. Gotta love FS Elite. I didn't think about that. That'd actually be a more effective way to do this, too. Yeah, I'm hoping next year. And if they bring it closer, I definitely will. No, dude, my head is gigantic, bro. Like, literally. Like, I have trouble getting into my own car sometimes. No, I don't have any problem with my ego. But seriously, that's actually a really good idea. I don't know why I didn't think about that. I don't need twin gauges. I need twin needles. So that'll make things a lot easier. So let's go back. So we could do manifold and RPM and have two needles running on both. If we were to turn this and do something more like this, and we could even model, because the thing is I'm trying to be thinking about turbine engines too. I don't fly them often, but like, for example, the TBM 850 turbine. Oh, damn it. It was already up. Where's my TBM 850 one, though? There we go. So you're still going to need torque, inlet, temperature, etc. But I don't know if we need all of these gauges, but we might be able to do something more like... So if we take this, leave that like that, then bring these two back in. Aye. There we go. Rotate these to 90 degrees. Well, but no. Oh, wait, but this is actual screen dimension. I think this will be okay. I do think we should bring these a little closer. Oh, no. Never mind. There's tons of space there. All right, let's do this with all these real quick. Hang on. Let's go back to our alignment. Oh, no. Get up. Oh, actually, that works. You know what, though? Didn't quite want that. That sunk it. What's frustrating me is it's not doing what it says it's going to do. So I guess we're just going to do this. There. I just want them down on the plate. I don't really care where they are. I just want the perspective to be correct. Mr. Joe, how you doing, buddy? So there we go. And we have room on all sides still. So we could even do a bezel around them. There you go. Now we're coming together. And we still have all this. Cool. So we can do this ADI, HSI, manifold pressure, RPM. I don't know what the hell this would be. Vertical speed, maybe. Or we could do speed indicators over here. Airspeed. And then just make this whatever the hell we want. But we could do torque, inlet temperature. I mean, I don't have to have everything. And again, we could always add. We are going to be adding another panel over here. The GNS 530. So my idea is they're going to sort of... This one's going to be in the center. And then what I'm sort of thinking is that a panel on each side doing like this. So they're more facing you, so they're easier to see. Is how I'm envisioning this for flight. I am doing okay, sir. I know what you're asking. It got moved to Monday. And thank you, by the way. You need to stop, dude. But I might, just for you. At the very least, on the back, I'll make sure it finds its way. Or put it down here. Okay, so let's see here. This is Tinkercad, Joe. So let's see what we got. Do we have a better shot? There we go. That's better. Oh, this is for the turbine version. Okay, so we could do torque. Again, and we can do everything with 2 needles, too. So there's torque, ITT, NG, right? Those are going to be the big ones. Oh, I hate that they do that with their pictures. You can't size them in. Pisses me off. And then let's add 3 gauges on the left side, and we could do altitude, airspeed, and I guess pick one for whatever we want, right? So let's come back over here. There we go. Control C, Control V. Grab this one. I can't blame you. Hey, Bruce, how are you, pal? Let's... Did we already center these? We did, right? I just want to make sure they're aligned this way. We did. Okay, cool. You know what? We can actually, I think we can go ahead and sync these. Let's go ahead and sync these guys. And we'll group these two. No, I got off. I know what you did there. Oh, they're not big enough. Ha! There you go. Size matters. There it is. You win. Size matters. Oh, but you know what? This isn't what we actually want them to be bound to. Never mind. I don't want to do that. This is just the display. So I don't want to do that. Okay. So then there's that. But I want to... Can I do this? Oh, nice. You can. Cool. So if you shift click, so if you highlight one and then shift click another, it'll grab them both. No! Undo that. That is not what I wanted you to do. I'm trying to get them to align. Oh, shit. Well, you know what would probably be easier? I'm an idiot. That's true. Let's just do this. I don't know why I didn't think about that. So we'll grab this, put these over here, grab that, align it, put those in the middle, okay, and then we'll just take these three, stop it, and delete those. And then move these three wherever the hell we want. What's the distance that we have between those? Disclaimer about what? Size matters. So we want 20 on this side. Stop it. There we go. There we go. That'll work. Take that out. And I think we got our first instrument gauge. What do you guys think about that? Should we put the little gauges on the outside? Is that going to be weird to look at like that? Probably should, huh? Wouldn't be hard to do. Let's see what that looks like real quick. What do you guys think about that? We're already at like 30 or 40, so it wouldn't surprise me. I think that looks a bit cleaner, huh? And then we could even take these three and move them out a little bit. Use up a little bit of space, but actually no, because then we want the bezel to be the same. Better? Yeah. Go for 4 small on which one, Strider? On this side, you mean? Well, because I was trying to go for something like this, right? So you have your 4 primary gauges, if you will, and then you have, you know, the smaller gauges for like your turbines. But I'm also thinking, so I'm trying to think about one. I'm trying to think about one gauge panel that can work for multiple aircraft. I'm thinking dual engine as well, right? So, I don't know, maybe you're right. So you're saying instead of these 3 small ones, do 4 smaller ones? Is that what you're saying? Guys, I think actually I can do this for you guys. Hang on a second. You guys had mentioned this last night, so hang on. Hopefully this works out okay. I'll do my best to keep the chat out of the way, but you guys should be able to see the chat now. Let me go in the properties for just a second. Let's bring the width down to 600. That way it formats correct. Let me know if you guys don't like that and if it doesn't work, but you get that should work so that way everyone can see the chat on both Twitch and YouTube. Okay, so yeah, I'll try it. Let's try it, man. So what are these? These were, what did we do here? We did 50 millimeters. Okay, so using my hand as a reference, I know it's really weird on camera, right? Anytime we're referencing things, but that's 50 millimeters. That's the size that they currently are. So my only concern is if that's going to be too small. But you know what? Hell, we might even be able to get another one in here. Let's try it. Are these even grouped right now? They are. So let's do this. Let's ungroup these. You might be onto something regardless. I think we can get another one in. I saw someone do a test chat. Yeah, looks like it's working. And then if we take this one, then just do Control-C, Control-V. Look at you, sir. Cool. That'll work. And then we can square these up in here in just a second. So let's do this. Let me hide this for a second. Uh-oh, what did I do? I didn't want to do that. I always click the wrong light bulb. Let's take this one, click that light bulb. There we go. And then let's take these. Okay, let's get them aligned. There we go. Okay, and then we will group. Let's take these and these. We're going to group them separately. Okay. And then take these and align them to the center. Oh, no, wrong button. Damn it. That means these group. Jerks. Just like that. Take that purple one, get it out of there. There we go. What do you guys think? The concept is we're going to be doing the same thing. So it's a hodgepodge of aircraft is our concept. I'm thinking TBM 850, B60 Duke sort of mashup. we're going to have the GNS 530. This is going to be our center dash panel. It's going to be sitting above this panel, which the Moza force feedback yoke is going to be right here. So we have this yoke that's going to be here. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's that. Okay, so this is everything that already comes with it. What is it with people making it so you can't zoom in their pictures? Why? Yeah, I can't zoom it in. That's so stupid. That was helpful. Thanks. I still can't zoom it in. What assholes. Anyway, did I say that out loud? So this is going to be in the middle. We still have to add the bezeling back in for the angles on it, but this is the dimension that we needed to make sure we cleared. Yeah. Yeah. And then we're going to have this in the center. And we're going to have two panels that come off to the side like this. I did that. It wouldn't let me. Didn't do anything. I work in IT, bro. You don't got to tell me the shortcuts. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that is a good panel, though. So what we can do now, I think, is clear that. This is the actual panel for our print. So actually, let's hide this for a second. Again, take all of these, group them. It's all right. We'll sync it all down. Actually, here, because that will annoy me. Okay, close enough. Take all those, group them. Bring our panel back. And we're just going to increase the height just because I know that they're at different levels. 50. Alright, everything is syncing. Good. Let's make sure we're centered on all angles. Align. Center. Center. And voila! There's our panel. And then we'll be able to do bezeling. We'll create a bezel for each one of these. Probably do that in the next episode. But so then now we would take this. What was the distance on that again? 368 is what we did there. Probably keep those the same distance. So let's fix this real quick because we know what's going to happen when I do that. Pull that out for a second. Let's make these two match. 368. Stupid mouse. Do the same thing. Align them. You're aligned, but you're not touching. I think I'm clicking on the wrong one. I'm trying to figure out, how do you butt them? Do you just have to push it up? Fine, we'll just push it up. Have fun with that comment. There we go. That'll work. Okay. And then we'll join these two. Clean panel. Take this. This is our cutout for the Moza again. Give it an alignment, which we just missed because I clicked off the screen. Boom. And join them. Oh, that sucked. I didn't realize we weren't. Hey, would you stop it? Bitch. there it is. Now we got it. Bow, 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 bow. Push it real good. I got you. All right, there it is. So our ADI. Oh, it's the same thing here, though. It's not center line. Okay, cool. I was going to say that these are ADI and HSI. Weren't going to be... Well, those ones are, though. So these aren't going to be center lined with the yoke. So I guess it really matters the... Do we care that much? I know. Thank you. It's exactly what's got me going. It's the symmetry. I just don't know how annoyed I am by it. The caffeine is kicking in. Well, it's not. He started singing it. I just finished it. If you had any idea how much caffeine I take in a day, that's probably why I've got the other issues going on. But if not, I would literally pass out somewhere. I don't know that I can do anything about that, though. Unless I moved the hole for the yoke over, which would probably look cleaner. Let's try it. There it goes. How the hell did I get a heart? Get out of here. All right, let's come back to here. Ungroup it. No, it's going to do the whole thing. I thought I... Oh, ungroup them. Oh, wait. First, we would have to hide that. Hide that one. Take these. Line. Okay. So we could do that. And now these gauges will be in line with the yoke. So they'll be... It'll be like this. And then we'll just have some extra space down here. I mean, we could put whatever we wanted there, really. But I think that'll look cleaner. What do you guys think? Yeah? Yeah, I agree. That's going to look better. Now comes the tricky part. The tricky part is we still have to have a way to print all of this. So, no matter what I do, I can almost guarantee we're going to have to cut it at the gauges. Like how I'm turning it like it matters. It's a freaking square, you dumbass. Sorry. At least you guys know I talk crap about myself. If I turn it this way on the square, it'll be perfect. So it's fine. Because what we'll do here is we'll just weld them. If you guys haven't ever done it before, you can actually weld plastic pieces together. At least for 3D printing. And I'm going to tell you guys what I do. There's a couple different ways you can do it. So you can just take a soldering iron with either a spade tool or just any flat tool, really. But I find that the spade tool works the best. Hey, Stochi, what's up, buddy? Didn't I talk to you already today? Anyway, but what you can do is you take your two pieces of printed material and you bring them together and you take a soldering iron, and I crank mine like max. And then you can drag it along the seams, and as long as you keep it secure, just give it a couple seconds. It'll make a groove, obviously, as it melts through. And then what I do is I go back after it, do your initial weld, let it fill, and then I just take some PLA filament, and just like you would with TIG welding or a soldering iron or any kind of welding, lay your PLA down and melt it back in to fill those grooves up. And it makes it really clean. That's what I did with the welds back over there on the dash. So the beautiful part about this is that we can chop this up however we want. So it's very clear that it's going to cut through one of the gauges, and I don't think there's anything I can do about that. So what I'm thinking is we'll probably do something like this, and I'll show you guys in just a minute how we're going to cut it up. But we'll have it sort of cut halfway through-ish here. And actually, we'll probably set this one up right now and just... now that I'm thinking about it, I bet we can do... I can. Cool. Let's, yeah, let's do that. We can break these two up into... No! Stop it. We want to... There we go. Something was moving. Oh, maybe not. Come on. We want it right on that edge. That should be it right there. All right, so there. Yeah, those can already be in their own pieces. We group that out. Voila. So this, even this, we'll have to print in two different pieces. But we'll just have to weld it here. But this is sort of the part that I was talking about. So on this one, what we'll do is add on the back of it, I'll print just little square tabs, nothing fancy, and use them as welding points just to give it a bit more support. But you can get a really solid weld out. I mean, it's not going to break. It's not like you're throwing these things across the house. So now, let's export this. We're not quite ready for this one because we still need to get the dimensions. I suppose I could do that real quick. I have to unbox mine I have my Moza boxed up. So it'd be kind of a minute before I could get back to that. But I think that's going to be pretty cool. So what we'll do... Oh, round bevel's here? Oh, and here? Did it have bevels? Oh, it did. Okay, I'll try it. Never tried to do that before. No, it's not square, and that's what I was just talking about. I have to get it out of the... I have to measure what the actual distance is on the top versus the bottom. We know at the bottom... We know this distance, but I need to get it out of the box to know what the distance is up top because they don't show it on their chart. They show the full distance from far left to far right. They're not showing the top versus the bottom. This 243, that includes the feet. So that has full end to full end, and then this is from left to right. But there's nothing that's showing me just what the top distance. You guys see how long this damn thing is, though? That's the thing that drives me nuts about these. Axe, my dude! Where the hell have you been, sir? How are you, man? Oh, no, you're fine, man. This is Tinkercad. All right, you know what? Give me a minute, guys. Talk shit about me behind my back. It's fun. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get the Moza out of the box. It cut me. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm cut. I'm wounded. I was wounded in battle. I have a cardboard cut. And I might cry. I want you to know that. I'll wait till you get back. Never say something to a man's back. These things are always so tough to get out of the box. It's like carrying a boat anchor. We're here for you. Did you ever notice, though? All right, so being real here, I have come in from working in the garage, blood dripping down my arm, 6-8-inch gashes out of me, and never even known it. You get a stupid paper cut and you know it for 3 days. Oh, just barely. All right, 152. $163 is what we are at the top of that. That freaking hurt, man. So 163. Yeah, dude, they suck. It's just a flesh wound. No, it's not. You're missing a whole leg. I'm fine. All right, so then what we need here should be a pretty easy way to do this now. 163 is what we're going to do. The problem is this isn't a center. I know how to do this. Where is... Pull this out. Giggity. Take this. Unlink the hole. Take this. Hide it. This here. These two. Align it. Center it. We can move the hole back out. Bring that back. Actually, I guess I didn't need to. Hang on. Yeah, I guess I didn't need to do that. Link them. All right. There's our dimension. And that's kind of funny the way it did that. Oh, I know why. Thank you. Today. Okay. Now we need to get this moved up here. Let's say that about covers it. And if we take this, take it to 8 like the rest, bring it back up. It's like raising the Titanic. Okay. So that is where the top stops. Is from here to here. It freaking hurt. Don't make fun of my feelings, man. I'm a sensitive Tarzan, okay? Yeah, I bet, buddy. X. That's cool. How's it coming along, man? We heard that. I didn't catch that. All right, so then now I just need an angle then from here to the side, right? But how am I going to create that? I'm trying to picture it. Just a simple triangle. I'm getting tired, so you guys got to bear with me. That's a roof that... A wedge? I don't know if a wedge is... No. You know what I wonder if will work? We're kind of going to use a crayon, actually. We're going to see if this will work. If we take this... How do I know my angle's right, though? My brain has stopped functioning. Because I could be anywhere here, right? I need the top of the... I'm a dumb shit.
You need the top of the distance from the other side, you moron.
You guys can say it. He said it, not us. $80. Let's call it 81. So come out of here. Delete that. So now we need the other side. Oh no, I 3D printed myself, man. Been a busy boy. Alright. Let's get that size down to where somebody can see it. Stupid ass. Let's try that again. How about just 8? There we go. And actually, let's change the color of these real quick. There we go. So we know what the hell we're looking at. There we go. There it is. Okay. So from here to here. That's our angle. Oh, dude, the A1. You would think I was sponsored by them. I had such a hard time with 3D printers in the past. The A1 has been a blessing. It's been so much fun because it doesn't require a lot of work. It's really more or less just freaking plug and play. All right, so we go from here to here. Ka-chow! All right, finish sketch. There it is. That one's a little higher, but shouldn't make that big of a difference. Control C, Control V. Oops. Lighting? What's wrong with the lighting? Dude, that A1 that I have now, it's been plug and play. What is wrong with the lighting? Why are you yelling at me for lighting? Do you need more lights? Is that what you want? Are you wanting more lights? Oh, wow, that looks like shit. Wow, that does not look any better. What are you doing to me here, man? All right, that's it. Oh, lightning. I was wondering what you were doing. Like, what are you talking about? All right, so now let's see here. I actually need to flip that vertically, right? Voila, guys. I think we got it. It's a little inset. You know what? We can arrange all that in a minute. Let me hide this for a second. We can get rid of that. Let's align it. Far out. I think we got our boys. Yeah, buddy. Why are we at different heights still? That's why it's creating that gap. Eight. That doesn't make sense. Oh, shit. I did. You win. Cool. We'll figure it out. It's not the end of the world. If it's got a slight bezel, I'm really not concerned. Like, oh, you can see it though, can't you? But you can't. Like, you... Oh, you know what I wonder? Hold on a second. They may not be connected. That may be what's happening. They may not be connected. That's what it is. They're not connected. Okay. Glad I caught that. That would have sucked during the print. Nope. I'm trying to move them ever so slightly. I want them barely touching, if that. Damn. Really missed that top. Nope. Shit. I think we got it there. I think I saw them merge. All right, that one's done. Let's go do the other side. Nope. Boom! There we go. There we go. Well, hot damn. So it really depends. Here, I'll show you guys a couple things that I did today. So this is going to be for the truck still. Let me blow this up for you guys. This is for ATS. We're going to replace that button box that's over there. So the switch box that's just in front of the gear shifter, we're going to replace it with, there's going to be this box and then a box that's right next to it, and it's going to be sort of cantered off like this. But so this, and by the way, this is literally set it and forget it. Okay, I literally told the printer to print it, and this is the quality it came out with. Didn't have to do any supports on these mounts. And so this was 10.5 hours. So it was a long time, and it was a lot of filament. But this was 10 hours. But now this, for example, was only about 2. And that includes the time it took to do the auto bed leveling, which I do every time on an important print. And then, like, that's the back of it. The back of it always looks like crap. But it's even bezeled. The edges are even bezeled for, you know, sitting on a lid. So something like this, that thickness, that's about 5-6 millimeters, give or take. About 2.5 hours. Okay. So it really depends. Now, mind you, here's the other kicker to that, though. There's a caveat to that. And then that's the kind of quality it prints in. The caveat to that is that's at 100% speed, okay? The A1 goes up to 166% speed if you want. Just obviously the faster it goes, you know, you take the risk of failure, things not sticking, whatever. But I will say this, I have cranked it multiple times and I have yet to have it fail because of the speed. But you will get some sloppy print points and things like that. I wasn't too concerned with this. Like something like this, I would normally crank it up. It's just I didn't care because I had it print during the middle of the night. Something like this, I keep it slow because I would rather only one round rather than having to do it again because it failed at the top. You know, so it really depends on what you're doing, but you can crank them up. So like I probably could print something like this in about an hour. And so something like this, each piece will probably be, like for example, this section here. Let me bring that down. Get off. So something like this section here from, I mean, this is the blue square that you guys are seeing. This is the size of my bed. Okay, so I'm going to have to, obviously, like I said, we're going to have to break it down. And then, so like this full bed, be about 2 hours. So this was another one. This is a full bed print. It was literally edge to edge the entire time. And it took, like I said, it was about 2 hours. So it's really not bad. And that was at 100% speed. So I could have kicked that down to an hour if I wanted to, but I'm just not that concerned. I turn it on, I let it run. You can run it from your phone and monitor it. It just needs to be on the Wi-Fi. Doesn't need active internet, just needs Wi-Fi. So something like this, the bottom piece, probably take about 40 minutes, if that. X, it's because I love you, bro. I want you to be thinking of me as you are swiping that card, buddy. The bamboo is awesome, guys. It really is worth it. Give me a second. I'll show you guys. If you guys are interested in checking it out for a second. Bring that back up. You guys probably aren't going to be able to hear me talk, but give me a minute. So there it is. Comes with all of its own files. Super simple to set up. Like I said, coming out of the box, it took about, I would say, 15 minutes tops, and I was printing. Actively, the printer was printing. Well, no, actually, that's not true, because it goes through a whole bunch of tests in its first time. Going through, it calibrates and everything. Aw, hurt you. But it's definitely worth it. And the thing that I liked about it was, like, you know, like I told you guys before, I tried the Ender 3 thing before, and it was too frustrating. I don't have that kind of time. You guys, you know, most of you in the channel right now know what I'm going through day to day, so I don't have the time to sit there and fight with it. And you don't have to with this. And then the Bamboo Lab itself, or the maker's website, whatever, has a whole bunch of crap too. Oh, you know what was actually kind of cool? Here, let me show you something. Like, for example, that mount for my crystal light, that was just on the Bamboo website. That was fun to print. So it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. So what, they went up in price. I caught mine on sale. So we looked earlier and they were right around 500, I think is what we saw. Isn't that what we saw? Oops. Yeah. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And if you have the money for it, like if you can actually spend it, I would recommend the AMS. It's the multicolor unit. But you can always buy that as an add-on later on. But right now I'm just running this one, and it's fantastic, dude. It's fantastic. And it got here, that was the other thing, shipping time. So I purchased it, and I think it was the next day I got a shipping notification, and within 3 days it was at my door. So it was nice. It was pretty cool. It was on sale though. I do remember that. So that could have been part of the game too, because it was on sale for a while. I know I caught it on a discount. I do remember that. But like I said, use Klarna. If you guys don't want to shell all that money all at once, like that's what I did. I had to use Klarna, and it was $100 a check. Basically, I set it up for my pay cycle, right? So it was every 2 weeks, and it was $100. You know, and so I lose more than that in the dryer. No, and the multicolor works great. So how I got turned on to that was, if you guys check out atsaccessories.com, I've mentioned them before. Oops. Where is it? Shit. There it is. That button box right there. That he made that. And he's got like 16 of the A1s and with the multicolor. This isn't my fault because I didn't ask for it. It was brought to me. But, I mean, I'm not going to say no. Damn. Plus, I'm up 20 hours a day, bro. Every day. I'm up by 4:30 every morning. I don't go to bed till 12:30, 1 o'clock at the earliest. Like, every day. So, I've been doing that for years. Don't ask me why I'm still alive. The dash panel that we built back here. Everything from the top was designed by ATS. Oh, why am I doing that? I'm going to show you guys. I'm freaking stupid. So if you go to ATS Accessories, let me turn the cam off. There you go. And you go to more, he's got a DIY center. And he's got a couple of DIY kits. And this is just for ATS, but this is what got me going for this. This, by the way, you can use this for pretty much anything you want. So this is really handy too. If you want, it's a circuit board with USB. Come on, what are you doing? It's got the USB circuit board, includes a 6-foot wiring cord, but they're already mapped for buttons. Okay, now you can see how it's mapped. It's not a ton of them, but it's a nice place to start if you're wanting to get into it. He's really taught me a lot. This guy is really cool. His name's Justin. He's fantastic. But if you guys want, like, for example, the dash that I just built, there's the dash that I made. You can buy all the STL files. And if you wanted to, you could print the bezels. But my bezels that are on mine and the same ones that are in this picture, I actually just got them on Amazon. They're too real Peterbilt. But anyway, so options there. But now let's go ahead. Stream shows is still active. Are you back? Oh, are we good? Okay. Cocaine works? What is the matter with you? Jesus. Oh my gods, dude. It's like, just snort it. You'll be fine. Okay, so let's pull this all out. Okay, we've got our parts here. So what we're going to do, I got on a little bit of a tangent there, and I'm sorry. So we're going to export, and we're going to export the selected shape and as an STL. So this is real simple. I'm going to show you guys how we'll chop this up. A lot. Like, you do not have that much time. I know. I feel your pain there, brother. We're in the same boat on that one. Okay, so it brings us... This is what gets downloaded. So here's the Moza bezel. Now I'm going to save this as Moza... It's not really the Moza bezel, I guess. We're going to call this the gauge panel. Okay. And then for like bamboo, we're just going to open it. Do you guys see everything okay? Oh, hey, there's an update. We'll do it later. All right, so here's our issue. Right? We were aware of this. So we know that we're going to have to cut this. The nice part is we don't have to cut it too bad. It's really not terrible, actually. I thought that was going to be worse than it is. Yes, sir, I am also streaming on Twitch. I prefer to stream on Twitch, honestly. I do YouTube for you guys. Not gonna lie. That's where most of my followers are, so kind of have to. But so let's take this. And we'll just, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see, which one did that move? Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll take this and we'll do a center. And now, just like we did before, I like to leave a little bit of lip. If you're going to cut it anyway, you know you're going to have to cut it anyway, give yourself a lip that you can work with that's going to be easier to weld up. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take it, and what I really love about this is that you can see where the bed line is. So I'm going to give us a little bit of a gap. I would much rather cut it here and have a square point to weld on, right? And let's check that rotation again. We want that a solid, let's see here. If I turn it a 90, it's going to do another 90 degrees, I think. Oh no, there we go. Cool, it did. That worked. Twitch just works better because the chat is instant, like as a couple of guys found out last night. Just shrink it to fit the platter. Yeah, that would work great. It won't work for the screen, but you know. But anyway, the Twitch chat is so much smaller or faster. Look what you did. Yeah, this is going to make a lot more sense because it'll be a lot easier to weld it. So we'll do a nice clean weld on the top. And the other thing that I was thinking about doing too is just like we did with that is you guys can get vinyl, and I'll show you guys what kind of vinyl ideas that I have here in just a minute too. Lay vinyl on top of it. They have carbon fiber vinyl, just plain black vinyl. You know, you can do all kinds of things that really takes that print look out of it. It's Flight Simmer. I just watched your video today, man, on that AB9. Nice of you to catch up to 2025, bro. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. All right, so let's bring this down a little bit more. I like that. That's nice right there. Gives me enough meat on both sides where I think it'll be easy to bring them in together. So then now we need our cut. And the cut, I'm not going to lie, is a little weird to use. Like it's a little goofy. So you want to... You have to sort of figure out which one is which. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so that's turning it vertically, so I was right the first time. All right, no. So you want back to 90. And then I think it's X that we want now at 90. There we go. And then now we can take this. Can't remember if you could take it. No, guess not. So we'll take this to our bed line ish right there, and let's add a plate too. We'll add a build plate, and now let's do cut parts. You can do the connectors, by the way. I don't bother with that. I just weld it down. I don't worry about that because when you do the weld, especially with the soldering, it's going to create a bevel anyway. And that's why I go back with the filament and fill it back in. So I don't worry about connectors. There he is. What's up, X? Welcome to the Twitch family, bro. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sounding weird. Maybe the caffeine is kicking in. All right, so let's do perform cut. And so there's our other piece. Oh, shit. There we go. And so we'll just take this guy. Thank you for the follow, sir. And so now we will lay it on face. And then when you do hit the lay on face, whichever side you highlight is what's going to lay it on. So let's just do that. There we go. And now we should be able to do a center. And we've got our prints. Come back over here, do a center on this one. Voila. And there they are. And so now to print, we'll just grab one of these and we'll just do a slice plate. The slice is okay. So to answer you guys' question, this is at 100% speed. We're looking at 2 hours and 5 minutes. Give me a second, though. I did see a piece of flash that was stuck to the plate. I got to get that off of there. Okay, and by the way, these are priceless for getting the flash that gets stuck to the bed, because you can take it like this and you're able to roll it. So what I do is I push down on the bed. If it's stuck here, I'll push it down like this and then just sort of roll it underneath it. Pops it right off the bed. Works real good. All right, so let's start our first one. And so again, that total time includes the auto bed leveling and the flow dynamics calibration. If you do these, you really only need to do these like once a week. If I'm doing something that I want to be really pretty, like I want to know that it's going to be great, but like for this particular print, because I know I'm going to cover it, I'm not going to be too worried about it. And it's not too long of a print if something were to fail. But launch it, and we're on our way. And Bill, you were talking last night about being concerned about the cloud. I mean, you saw right there what it did. And it sent it straight to the printer. Let me pull that up, as you can see. So you can hear the printer over there chiming behind us. So it went straight to the printer. And close that. Actually, wait, cancel that. Just regard. And then I believe we can also export these as individual. So if we go back to prepare. Yep, export as one STL. So now we'll take this and we'll go. Let's actually just change this to flight now. Flight gauge panel. We'll call this center. I don't know. There's that. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. Export as one STL. Right. And there. Now they're both set. And so I'll probably just leave this up, and then once that one's print, I'll just click on this one, slice and go. And the only other piece that we need to grab is this guy. So we'll export selected object. Wi-Fi. To answer your question, Bill. You are weird, and that's why I like you. I'm out of my mind, dude. Let's see here. You know, it's amazing that I haven't become a woman, and I know in 2025 that's a dangerous thing to say, but I want you to be thinking about something here. I grew up with 3 older sisters and no brothers, and I have a redheaded mother. I've been married twice. Done with that part of my life, that's for sure. And I have 3 daughters and no sons. I have 2 male dogs. One of them is fixed. I have 1 male cat who might as well be a girl because he doesn't do anything that a male cat should do. And I have a female cat. Like, the amount of estrogen that I am surrounded with in my life, one pipe is retracting, and I'm pretty sure a cavity is going to open at some point in my life, and I'm just going to become a woman. So, just that and the overall. Yes, the router is, of course, connected to the internet, but that doesn't mean that you have to go out to the internet. I don't have the printer hooked up to the internet. The printer itself is blocked by the firewall. I deal with a lot of HIPAA and PHI information, so I have a very secure network, so only certain things are allowed to reach out to the internet, and my printer is not one of them. I understand, though. Yeah, I don't let my printer out to the public. I'm very restrictive on what can connect. Commercial, just a minute. All right, so, wow, that was a nice 2-hour and 20-minute stream. How about that, huh? So that's our first piece of equipment. I'm going to get all these printed, and then in the next video, I will show you guys how I weld it all together. But I am going to show you guys some cool vinyl stuff to look at real quick. So what I used for... Oh, you know what? Vinyl adhesive. That's not what I want. There we go. So I just get stuff like this. Like, here's gloss. If you wanted to go gloss, I wouldn't go gloss. Out comes drag. I can do that on camera too. I just didn't want to weird anybody out, you know? I mean, the women have it made, dude. When you think about it for a second, okay? All joking aside, I'm really jealous when you think about the things that women are acceptably allowed to wear and have it not be weird. Like a dress. Think about swamp, right? We all get swamp down there. You wouldn't have that with a dress. Like, it wouldn't be, at least I don't feel like it would be as bad. He says, no. I'll donate if you donate $500, I will absolutely come out and drag. You do that, and I promise you, I will, girl, I will own it with the beard and all. Absolutely. Hey, no problem, 777. Take it easy, buddy. Thanks for sticking around. I hope it did help. That was the whole point of all this. So I wanted to. Not what he was telling me. It wasn't called a kilt. I could never rock a kilt. Like on a day-to-day, I couldn't do it. But anyway, so here's an idea of a few of the vinyls that I use. That I was thinking. Like, I was probably thinking of going something like this route. It would lay on top, gives it a nice texture look on top, covers up any of the blemishes or anything like that might be on the plastic. The only thing that I would say with the plastic is where you do your welds, make sure that you sand it down at least so it's flat. And then you can, like what I did on the dashboard for the truck, is even before laying down the vinyl, is did some wood filler. And that was a recommendation of Justin over ATS. He said with the vinyl, if you do a real thin vinyl, you will see, like a wood vinyl, you will see the seam. All right, man, take it easy, brother. And I will. I always remember. But you can really make some pretty cool, some stylish, materials. And this is just a handful. Like if you go with like the wood vinyl, you can get far cooler ideas. And this stuff is so cheap. I mean, look at that, $8. I think the one that I used, I thought I just saw it. Yeah, right there. That's the one that I have on the dashboard for the truck. It was $10. And I still have a ton. Steve out. Take it easy, brother. But anyways, I hope you guys learned a few things. I hope you guys like this series. We're going to keep this series going. This is going to be the DIY Lives. I'm going to try to do this at least once a week, maybe more. But I thought this would be a fun way to include you guys in my building process, teach you a couple things, and hopefully get you guys engaged with building your own stuff. And like X said, I love spending your money. Let me know if this works. If you end up buying a printer, I want to know about it because it just makes me feel good to know that I got you to buy something that was ridiculously expensive. But, all right, man. Thanks, X. Take care, guys. We're going to wrap it up for this episode, guys. I'll let you guys know how it all prints out, but I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'll probably be driving later on, so catch you guys soon. Take care, guys.